is math? Some people seem to think that math is some ethereal set of unrelated rules and symbols. In this video, I will explain how the rules of mathematics follow logically from one another, how a new mathematical concept is really just built off of previous foundations. Axioms of the number 1, addition, and a predetermined base 10 system, we have created subtraction, multiplication, and division. You can continue to extrapolate these ideas to reach exponentiation, square roots, and all other sorts of mathematical wonders. Advanced mathematical concepts weren't pulled out of thin air, they were built upon previous stepping stones.
It is said that a Greek mathematician, Pythagoras, was always looking at things. And one day, when he was looking at a tile floor, he saw something very curious. He saw that there are the same number of tiles in the two squares on the sides of a right triangle as there are tiles in the square on the base. This certainly looks to be true here. But is it true for all triangles? Pythagoras concluded that for all right triangles, the sum of the squares of the sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. Possibly so, Pythagoras. But let us investigate this theorem for ourselves. First, what can we find out by looking at a series?
So, with our postulates and common notions, a straight edge and a ruler, it is possible to derive Pythagoras' theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, for a right-angled triangle. To be fair, Pythagoras derived his proof before Euclid, but Euclid is the first to derive it from basic principles. And this proof comes about as proposition 47. This video presentation is going to be on proposition 32 of book 1, which states that if we have a triangle and we extend the base further out, that the exterior angle will be equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles, and that the sum of all the interior angles